Let me guess, you just saw the Superman trailer for the new movie that comes out in 2025, and you're wondering what comics you can read to further invest yourself into this character. I got you. Come here. I'm Maggie, Vegan Superkick. I read comics and I talk about them. And this is my personal favorite list of Superman comic book recommendations that I would suggest reading before this new movie comes out. I do want to kick this off by saying I understand how polarizing this new movie is going to be for the comic book community. There have been a lot of on-screen adaptations of Superman, some good, some bad. Everyone has their favorites. I do think that the most exciting aspect of this new James Gunn, DC Studios kind of era that we're entering right now is it's a great spot for new fans to jump in who weren't sure what to watch before or had heard too many conflicting ideas about other movies and representations of Superman in media. So I think no matter where you land on that, we can all agree that this is going to be a good year for new comic book fans, new comic book nerds who want to watch movies and shows to jump into this universe because it's new for all of us right now, and I find that exciting. Personally, I am a newer Superman fan myself. I only started reading Superman comics about maybe 2 years ago. I'll be the first to admit I'm very open about my comic book history. I used to be a hater. I used to think there was no way I could relate to a character like Superman. I just didn't think he was written for me. So as a newer fan of this character and someone who is going into this new movie and this new era of DC with a lot of excitement and hopefully no jaded feelings, the comics I'm about to tell you about are the comics that really helped me understand the character of Superman and essentially what got me on board. And I made this short and sweet, so let's just jump into it. The first comic on my list is For All Seasons. This comes to us from the creative team of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, who also did the Marvel Color series, which was a really beautiful, scaled-down character study of particular characters in the Marvel Universe. For All Seasons has that same vibe. It's pretty quick and to the point, and to me, this is the comic that you read when you want to get to know Clark Kent as a character. Who he is, the people who raised him, what motivates him. It's just a nice kind of coming-of-age story. Second on my list is All-Star Superman from Grant Morrison. This is on everyone's top 10 list, and for very good reason. It's emotional, it's very involved. In my opinion, this is the comic you want to read if you want to learn about Superman as a character. If you just don't get him, this is what you want to read. This also has some really beautiful writing of Superman adjacent characters, the people that he loves, the villains that he faces. It's just a beautiful comic. There's a reason this is on everyone's favorite list. Third and final comic on my list is Superman Smashes the Klan, which is a retelling of the 1940s radio show where he fights the Klan of the Fiery Cross. Relatively self-explanatory, but this retelling is kind of done in a young adult graphic novel form, which I think is really cool and it's palatable. On that same note, it doesn't feel like a young adult graphic novel. It feels like a story about Superman fighting white supremacy. Jean Luen Yang is not afraid to identify the bad guys in this story and just kind of remind you that in the real world, villains walk around us all the time. They live in our neighborhoods, they work at our grocery stores, and although this is a young adult graphic novel, it does a really good job of kind of bringing that story from the 40s straight into this real world that we're living in right now, and just kind of reminding us, like, hey, this is old, but it's not over yet. After I read this, I let my son read it, and he thought it was really good. It was his first Superman comic book that he ever read. So that felt good to kind of get him into it as well. Like I said, quick and painless. Those were my 3 comic books that I would recommend for you to read if you are looking for a reason to fall in love with Superman, invest yourself in the character. Is this a greatest hits of all time? Absolutely not. Superman is a character that has decades worth of good storytelling written about him. Are these the only Superman comics I've ever read? Also, absolutely not. Again, these are just the stories that when I watched that Superman trailer and I got this feeling of hope inside of my chest and like this feeling of emotion, I thought to myself like, wow, this is how I felt when I read these particular comics for the first time. If you have already enjoyed these comics, please let me know. And if you have recommendations for other comic books that people may be looking for, drop them in the comments. This is not a page that gatekeeps cool stuff. I want us all to share the comics that we're reading, the comics that have changed us. I'm really excited about 2025, and I can't wait to go into this new year full of comics and movies and TV shows with all of you. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!